Hello, everyone. I don't know whether anyone's in the chat room yet and can hear me. Do I have any followers? Today's going to be a lot of fun. I think that with the transitions that are going to be allowed for with the XSplit program that I have, I think this could be very interesting. And one of the great benefits about YouTube is that as soon as this is finished and I've answered all the questions and shown you guys what can be done with live streaming, at least as I've developed it thus far, I can record this and someone else can come in and see it later. So if I ever do one of these broadcasts and you'd like to see it, you'll be able to come back and hear that. So it looks like I got a couple of people coming in. Hello, Ted. Hello, Mr. 3D Homes. How are you? Good to see you all. So I guess I'm just going to delve right into this, if knowing that anybody can see it again if they'd like to. I'm going to answer a couple of questions that were asked of me relative to as a realtor would ask me, meaning a realtor wrote me this question and he asked me, he says, why would someone pick you as a realtor over me, George? If you were out competing for a listing presentation or in a listing presentation, why would they pick me? And I said, well, I consider it the unique value proposition. I provide video, Matterport, and address-specific websites to each one of my properties, irrespective of the cost. And I asked him, I said, could you point me to your YouTube channel where you do that? And, can you show me any examples of what you've done? And he said, I don't have any. I said, you better get on the stick, bud, because you're going to end up facing realtors like myself that are capable of producing that. You can see over here in my corner, I've set up my Matterport as the sunset's starting to go. Last night it was beautiful sitting in the background, so anybody that's watching probably get a little bit of a San Diego sunset. So one of the nice things about this system is I found it. I'm using the Logitech 933 camera and speaker system, so I don't have an independent speaker running, but I may change that in the future. And the other is I'm using a software called XSplit. Now, what XSplit will allow me to do is transition really pretty smoothly into other saved data. It could be a video, it could be on my screen, it could be something of that nature. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to show a transition, and it's going to be a short motion graphic that I did for a property. We'll just transition over and you can get to watch this. I'll show you how this system works. Think of all the different ways you could use this for a seller. Now you'll notice that the graphic went away and you're looking at a Adobe screen that is the type of system, the Adobe After Effects program, that motion graphic was developed in. So many of my realtor and photographer friends are wondering, what is the complexity of this situation and how do you make that? How long does it take? I'm going to try and do a separate video on that, but it would be only centered on those people that even have this program. There's so much information out there right now that if you get on YouTube, one of my favorite creators for motion graphics is a gentleman named Maxwell Ridgway. After this is completed, I'll put Maxwell's video links. He also, as a side business, does motion graphics for other people. You could even contract with him or potentially on Fiverr if you're looking for motion graphics. That's a question that was asked by one of my subscribers last week. So one of the questions that came from a photographer, how do I convince more realtors to use my services? Well, I've addressed this in a couple of videos, and I think really it's an issue of cost. Right now, at least in San Diego County, there's about 20,000 realtors and about 3,000 transactions that take place on a monthly basis. that is very, very competitive market. No one's making what I would call giant amounts of money to go out and produce the type of marketing program that I have, especially when you're with a broker, another broker, and you're paying a a compensation to the broker and to the franchise. Your money gets eaten up really quick. They're looking for every way that they can to save money. Again, that's the unique value proposition that I bring to my clients. I can go out and do something like this and really do it very quickly. I'm very lucky to have this benefit. I see that my audience is growing. Hello, Real Estate Whisperer. For anybody that's watching, I'm going to put a link to Kristina Smallhorn's channel. She's the most hilarious realtor, I think, on the planet. She is more creative in the methods that she uses to promote her client's property than probably I ever can be. I consider her a very good friend. If ever there's anything I can do for her, I want to do it. And in any of my other peers, this is not an easy industry. I want everybody to have a shot. Everybody's that doesn't have all this stuff, I consider an underdog. I've spent a lot of time and energy even to get to this live cast where I could take and show some of the work that I've done and maintain the California license requirement of having my name and broker's license number plastered on here at all times. That's pretty big. I did get a question earlier from a realtor that said, have you heard anybody getting already fined by the Department of Real Estate for using social media and not having their license published? We're only 30 days into the end of the month. We're not even 30 days into the month. I expect that anything happens, you'll probably hear about it on a 90-day period. So, any questions from the audience? I'm not seeing any yet, so I'll go on to my next question from a subscriber. They wanted to know, is now a good time to start a real estate career? Well, I think if you have the desire to come into this industry, the first thing that I would do would be I would do the math. I would approach this with all the charts and graphs. I would find out how many realtors were in my area, what my population base was, how many transactions are closed per month, what the average number of transactions were done, and the income was of agents. This is not easy. I heard in a broadcast from a real estate coach that was at the California Association of Realtors Expo that he sees more and more agents going into team environments where they can provide video, Matterport, address-specific websites, the leads to the system, which really, in a way, kind of turns them into an employee. I'm not going to use that term for tax purposes, but they have a more defined role. They have to go out and make the listing appointment. They have to get on the telephone. If those tasks for the team member is not done, it's not going to work. The conventional model of go out, take a few pictures of the property and put it in the MLS, do your paperwork, I think that's going away. There are too many agents that are producing videos for every one of their listings irrespective of cost. I saw one that the Real Estate Whisperer did, and it was for a price point below what I did the next video that I'm going to show you. This was a shorter video version that I did for Facebook and Instagram for the same property. We'll take a moment, and this was an intro into a tutorial, and it indirectly, because I always try and speak in a global manner, was an advertisement for the property. The seller of the property, I bet you, shared this at least 150 times. So let's take a look at that.
I'm off to one of my listings. Would you like to see how I do the Matterport and the entire setup? Well, let's go. We are on the road. Sure hope my car doesn't break down in this world famous parking lot. The car broke down. Look where I am. full video. I'll have to give you a little plug. Success. One of the first things I'm going to do is try and get an aerial of the home.
So we can even have a little fun here. I like these shades. These are one of the props that I used in something else. Right now, I'm flying blind as a bat. Look at the sunset behind me. Did we get lucky tonight or what? So let's go back to the regular shades. I got another pair to show you here in a minute. Let's see what else we got here in the way of questions. Okay, we covered, is now a good time to come into the real estate industry? My niece's husband asked me that about a year ago, and I told him absolutely not, don't do it. The expense that he would have to go to, put the money aside for his family to go without closing a commission for, say, or closing a transaction for, say, a 6-month period of time, it would have just put so much stress on their relationship. It wouldn't have made sense for him to do it, especially in San Diego right now. Somebody from New York's calling. We're going to have to mute them. My brother and sister said that they were going to come in to the broadcast today. I don't see them here yet. And make sure that they call me 4 or 5 times, text me, and give me a bad time. I don't blame them. I probably deserve it. There was a time when I was a little kid, I used to kick the bunk bed on my brother, and I know he still wants to kill me for that. So no, I probably wouldn't come back into. I wouldn't launch a real estate career as an agent right now unless there was some kind of guaranteed income. Maybe as a pathway to get into the industry, property management, something like that. But at least in Southern California right now, I feel kind of a depressed market. Everyone wants to talk bubble, but I've always been someone that sells homes. If you need a home, you need it when it's time for you to buy it. If you're going to be there for a matter of a year, don't buy a home, go rent one. If you're setting down roots and everything's it looks like it's going to continue on for a 5 to 7 year period just as it is, and it's an affordable issue, buy it. Don't go buy a home where you're not going to be able to go buy food and take care of your family. It just doesn't make sense. I don't want to put the pressure on to anybody to buy a home and get committed to a process that they can't handle. Oh, if you came in late, I'm going to put an email address up at the end. If anyone has any questions for the next broadcast, I promised I'll pull them out. If it's something specific, I will take and answer the email immediately. If you want to know, like I'm using XSplit, how I did anything with that, if you drop me a line, I'm very good at getting back to people. Right now, we've been going for 14 minutes and 38 seconds. I have an audience of 6. I'm a movie star. But again, we're going to get to replay this, and it'll be posted in my live feed on my channel. So I figured this would probably go about 20 minutes. Let's talk about emails and email cards. Now, what you're seeing here is this is an end card, and you can go at the very end of the video and either send me an email, you can subscribe to my channel, you have that feature and ability. One of the things that created a lot of attention for me recently was the Matterport card. Now, Matterport is a 3D dimensional tour. It's a fabulous tool, but how do you get from a YouTube directly into the Matterport? Now, I'm going to show you an example of that, and then I'll explain this to you and tell you why there's been some changes on YouTube that may make this pretty much unique to me in San Diego County. Looks like we're having a problem with that one working, but let's give it another shot and see what happens.
tablet screen can take you right there. If the right motion graphic is given to you and prompted along with the linked card, you're gone and off and away to that site. Now, some social media providers are fearful of this.
I'm sorry for the little glitch that was there, but you probably saw on the portion of the screen up at the top a portion of a Matterport starting to spin, and then it said click here. Well, that would have routed you directly to the website where the Matterport is featured. Now, that is a benefit that a YouTube partner has if he ever monetized his channel. He could take and send traffic away. YouTube just changed that policy, and now to get those benefits, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. I think that's probably going to soften over a period of time. When I did all the demographics or all the studies on this relative to the agents in San Diego that had this ability, I was the only one. And I also, in comparison to the other agent, I don't believe that they have their own Matterport. They're not Matterport service providers. I've been with Matterport since the very beginning. I've done Matterports for contractors, hospitals. I did one for a high-tech lab. It's a very valuable tool to get a perspective of the property and even a floor plan and an overhead top-end view. You can pull a 2D floor plan with all the measurements and literally look at it in the way that a new home is marketed. Let's look at some of these comments and see if there's anything I can do. I like your little drone. This is from Ted Finkelman. I like your little drone. Is it small enough not to need an FCC license? I have the FCC 333 exemption, so that wouldn't really apply to me. I believe that you'd still technically need one, but it is a relatively small property. Jay Perry, what's up, George? Stoked you're doing these live streams. Jay Perry, he's going to get a link in my feed for this. Jay is a photographer out of Canada. What a talented person. If he would post for me every 15 minutes, I'd watch every 15 minutes. He did a toy drive up in Canada that just awed me. If you're not following Jay, you need to. He will add it to your life. Just trust me on that. Let's see if there's anything else. I think that's pretty much it. It looks like I'm going to get away with this and not have my brother and sister watch, or at least they may be watching and not Google or YouTube. What do you call it? Subscribers. So that just kind of watching the blind. I have a friend named Mark Ornstein. What a dude. He told me that he was going to be in here and watching. I don't see him yet, but he's a very, very close friend of mine. Met him when I was 17 years old. It's amazing that you can keep a friendship that long, especially with me. It can be a little flighty at times. After all, here, let me get my other glasses on just for a little fun. I like the Roy Orbison. This is when you got to be political and not answer that question. Oh, got the phone chirping. Let's see what it says. Mark says he's here. Good to see you. How's Toby? How's Chloe? How's that dog? You got the cutest little dog. Well, I've kind of run out of things to say this evening. I really wanted to see how the system worked. I'll go back and place my cards and put everything in. I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone sends me. If there's anything I can do for any of my subscribers and anybody Oh, Kristina Smallhorn and I, we share video snippets. She's a collaborator. I did something that she saw. She says it's the best thing I've ever done, and it'll be coming out soon. Now, I from time to time have done volunteer work for different organizations and done videos. There's actually a thread of videos that I've done for like Habitat for Humanity, the Realtor Association, that type of thing that's in my channel. I did one for a robot tournament for some high school students here in San Diego. It's going to be about 5 minutes long. I'm working with the district to get some final things done. Kristina's already seen it. Let me show you a short part of that. Okay, I took this GoPro and I actually put that onto the carriage of the robot, and this footage is really pretty good. Talking about real estate, there's only so much of a story you can tell. Please come see the house and let's buy it and help George make some money. But when you go to things that are more socially important, I think you're really going to like this one. It'll probably be out in 10 days or so. I do have to wait for the school district. I'm waiting for somebody to come in and do some of the calls to action. I got involved with this with a woman that I sold a home to that's a physicist, and she volunteers her time to this organization. What a woman. You can meet some of the nicest people in real estate. So let's see if there's anything else I've missed. Matterport card for YouTube. See, on this screen, and I'll show this to anybody later, maybe take a little screen capture of it, I can stack all of my events to show the programming so that I can keep a structure, which this is really cool stuff. It did take me 2 days to figure out how to do it, but I'll be able to use it in the future. If you're a realtor, you can do anything. Just try it. Hey, it was great seeing you guys tonight. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and go to my last screen here, and so I can add the end card to the end of the video. I learned a lot. Thank you very much for all being here, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, is this working? Should be end card time. Again, you're a realtor. Do something. Be creative. Make it happen.